Hello buddy, welcome back to another video. As today we got another episode of reviewing NHL teams off season so far. As today we're going to be talking about the Vegas Golden Knights, as we're going to be taking a look at their off season, as they got no goalies. Their goaltending duo is probably some of the worst in the league, up there with the Maple Leafs. They also did some pretty good signings, getting Nicholas Roy back on a pretty good deal, signing Phil the Thrill as well, and some other decent signings here for the Vegas Golden Knights. But before we get into this, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. It'll be very much appreciated there, guys. Also, if you'd like to be a member of the channel and join the boys club, just scroll down below, click the join tab, and we got some amazing emotes, and also you get some exclusive and early content as well, so make sure to go check that out as well. It'll be very much appreciated. So let's get into talking about the Vegas Golden Knights this offseason and talk about everything that has happened with them. Now, they didn't make a whole lot of moves. They actually had to trade away some players like Max Pacioretty. They had to throw away. They also will not have Robin Lehner this upcoming season. He's going to be going on the LTIR this upcoming season. So in return, they picked up Ian Hill from the San Jose Sharks, and basically these are the three goalies that the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be going with this year. And whoo, mama, that's not a duo you want to be going with this upcoming season, but we're going to be getting to that a little bit later on, and it's definitely up par with how, like, Matt Murray and Samsonov are. I think there's some big questions with Brossoit and Aiden Hill. That's without a doubt. So let's get into the very first thing, which was the draft, and the draft wasn't amazing here for the Vegas Golden Knights. They didn't have a first-round pick, and the picks that they did make in Sapovalov, he was okay, good defensive guy, produces a little bit of offense, played all right in the World Juniors and the Olympia Gretzky Cup. He didn't do too bad in. He played pretty good in the OHL this year for the Spirit, and he was an all right guy, plays really good defensively. He's a big boy, so he's not the greatest skater in the world, but just all right, can project to be like a top 9 guy. Jordan Gustafsson, Alberta boy, playing in the WHL, had almost a point per game season. Another little nice addition, but not too many great draft picks there for Cal McCrimmon this past draft. He just didn't have the most amazing, picks in the world, and not, big picks either. So mid-draft, definitely not the most amazing draft that we've seen so far. A very kind of piss-poor draft for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now we'll move into the trades, which the one trade that they did, or the two trades that they did, they picked up future considerations and dumped off Max Pacioretty and Dylan Coghlan. Now, Max Pacioretty, maybe there was some locker room problems, so on and so forth, who knows. But it was mostly due to the contracts. And honestly, it was a move that they needed to do because of the fact that they got Jack Eichel on the team. And quite honestly, Max Pacioretty was an expendable guy. Now, you could have kept him because they actually did go on the LTR. So technically, they could have kept him because, what, they have $10 million with Lehner and Shea Weber. Probably not had enough cap. They probably would have been pretty close to it. But either way, I think you honestly lose out in general when you trade away players for absolutely free. I mean, they picked up Max Pacioretty for Nick Suzuki and a few other players, and now they lost him for absolutely nothing, just for future consideration. So definitely not an amazing trade here for the Vegas Golden Knights. They definitely lose out big time. They just gain up in cap. So I guess you could say that's a little bit of a W for them. And then they picked up Ian Hill for a 4th-round pick. And, yeah, let's talk about the goalie tandem that the Golden Knights are going to be going into. So the very first guy that we're going to talk about is Ian Hill. Now, Aiden Hill this past season, it wasn't bad, but he only played 25 games. He had a .906 save percentage. He was just all right. Not amazing, just all right. Like, I don't think this is going to be a guy that's going to be a starting goalie for you. He might be able to play 40 games, but even then, if you try to stretch him to 40 games, I don't know if he's going to have better or worse numbers. I think, honestly, he might be staying around the same or even worse. Then you got Laurent Brossoit, who was just an abomination this past season. Had a .895 save percentage with a 2.90 goals against average. When he's played less games, he's done a lot better, but every year it's like, good year, bad year, good year, bad year, good year, bad year. So maybe you'll have a little bit of a better year, but this guy has never been able to play over really 20 games. He's only played 2 years over 20 games, so if you're going to be really relying on this guy to play a decent chunk of games, you can't. This is not a guy that you want to rely on to take a decent chunk of games, And then you also got a very, very young goalie here in Logan Thompson as well, who had a decent season last year coming up and playing for the team. But honestly, like, there was still a lot of big concerns with this guy. He didn't always look amazing. He definitely has some of the better numbers out of everyone, without a doubt, but he was not amazing. He wasn't flawless. So maybe Logan Thompson can be that guy this upcoming season, but that's why they're going with 3 goalies, just in case if someone doesn't do very well, they can, call up somebody or just go with 3 goalies this upcoming season. I'm not too sure what the hell the Vegas Golden Knights are going to do, but it's a really rough looking tandem and a lot of big question marks. Honestly, Logan Thompson, I can see doing very well, but like looking at a lot of his deep stats, yeah, sure, he's had some great numbers, but he definitely did get carried a lot by the defense core. And I don't think that's going to happen every single game. And none of these guys have been able to play over 30 games. And most likely, you're going to have to rely on one of these guys to play over 30 games. So I think there's a lot of big questions for the Vegas Golden Knights this upcoming season, especially with Robert Lehner out. And I don't think they addressed it very well. And I mean, how can you address it when there's not a whole lot of goalies available? And Robert Lehner came unexpectedly out that he was injured, and all the goalies that were available got signed up. So you're just having to kind of pick off the scrapyard, which was Adin Hill. So definitely not amazing. Kind of an L on the goaltending side of things for the Vegas Golden Knights. So another L to take in the trade. But I mean, they definitely did win in the deal. They only had to trade away a 4th round pick, so I'm really not giving them a massive L on it. I'm giving them an L in their goaltending duo, or their triplet, or whatever the hell you want to call it. So let's get into the free agency signings. This is where things kind of get a little bit better for the Vegas Golden Knights. So they re-signed Riley Smith for a 3-year deal worth $5 million. I like this move. Riley Smith he's at the same AAV that he was before, and he's a good producer. 38 points in 56 games. Produces some good offense. Will get you, almost 20, 30 goals per season. Gets you 50 points. So good signing here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Does really well in the playoffs and plays really well alongside of Carlson and Marchessault. They've been a great line for the past few years, so might as well keep the line together and see how well they do this upcoming season, since they struggled a little bit last season. Moving forward, though, they got Keegan Colasar on a 3-year deal at a 1.4 AAV. No, another nice, depth player to get back on the team. He's pretty good offensively, plays a really physical game. And I've been liking Keegan Colasar. I thought he's a nice depth guy to add to the team. He plays good 4th-line minutes, produces a little bit of offense, gives you some hitting. Not a bad player to keep on the team, especially at that AAV. Not bad. Nicholas Roy, great 3rd-line center. He's been amazing offensively for the Vegas Golden Knights. Not amazing defensively, but one thing, he's really good on the PK. But he's really been, improving his game offensively, and I think Nicholas Roy will continue to grow. And honestly, I think this could be a steal of his signing, especially if Nicholas Roy can continue to grow. He had 40 points in 78 games, and I think he can maybe even go higher than what he did this past season. I can maybe even see him maybe overtaking William Karlsson. So I really like this deal. $3 million for the next 5 years. I think it's an absolute steal. Really good bargain on Nicholas Roy. Absolutely amazing value. And then they got Phil Kessel at $1.5 million for 1 year. A little bit of an older guy. I cannot believe no one really paid up for him, because he did pretty good this season. 52 points in 82 games. And had a pretty good season for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I really like Phil Kessel, quite honestly. His finishing totals definitely did go down there, but I think that was mostly because he had legit no one passing him. He had to pass to other bums. So I think Phil Kessel playing alongside Nicholas Roy, I think he'll do really, really good this season. And I think the 3rd line will be really deadly offensively. So I'm excited to see how this will do here for the Vegas Golden Knights and how well Phil Kessel will play for the Knights as well. I really like the looking of this team already. So, and that is about all the moves that they did do. Is they didn't make a whole lot of big, moves, trades, and stuff like that, but they did make a decent amount of moves. And honestly, I am not really excited about the Knights. I mean, their offensive core looks good, defense looks good, their goaltending is something to be super, super concerned about. So, what's my grading on the Vegas Golden Knights this past offseason? I see the trades as L's. The goaltending, I mean, the Adin Hills trade, I can see as a little bit of a W, but I do not like their goalie duo or their triplets or whatever the hell you want to call them. I'm not a big fan of that. Really not. Their defense score is just fine. They've been able to go and run with that for the past few years, so they've been just fine. I think their defensive core will do just good. I think their forward core, they definitely did improve it. They did really good signs with Kessel and Roy. I think, I'm going to go with the middle of the pack. I think it would have been a B, but I'm gonna go with a B minus, mostly because the goaltending, the tandem that they got with the goalies. I'm not a big fan of it. I think that's a big concern, step into this upcoming season. I like the bargain with Roy. I like Kessel. I like the Smith signing, but I'm gonna go with the B minus. It would have been yeah, I think we'll stay with a B minus, just because like it would have been a lot better if the goaltending was a lot better. I like the signings that they did make though. I think they're good bargains. I think they're good value. So I'm gonna keep it at a B minus. But the goalie tandem is something to be concerned about here for the Vegas Golden Knights. Could even be a C plus. I think it's on the edge of being a C plus, to be quite honest with you as well. So tell me guys in the comment section below what you guys thought of the Vegas Golden Knights offseason. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.